This is a 7-segment display. It's an electronic module that has individual LEDs, 7 of them. And with those 7 LED segments, you can make all kinds of different numbers and characters. This is very popular. I'm sure you've seen this in many different displays. Old watches even had these. Well, I wanted to do something similar to this, but with 3D print. So no batteries, no electrical of any kind, but get the same effect for an advent calendar. And here it is. It's a 7-segment with 2 digits advent calendar that you can just change the segments. I can just change 23 to 22. I'll show you how I made this on today's Filament Friday. So I started with Tinkercad, and I brought in a box and shaped it into a simple flat square. And here's the dimensions that I gave it, but really you can make it whatever you want. I just did this to fit within my Fabrikator mini space. Then I went and grabbed the text shape generator that's built into Tinkercad. You type in the text you want, and you can place it right on the model. So that's what I did for the days to Christmas. Now the bow at the top, I actually borrowed that from another design I found on Thingiverse. And then all I did was add this little thin tube here at the top so I could hang it from something like the Christmas tree or even from the wall. So once I had those in place, then I took the blocks that I created, the segments, and I laid them out to form the 8, the 7-segment display. And I made them into a whole and then grouped it all together, and I had my advent calendar with the digital display. The final step was to download the .stl file. So I clicked on download for 3D printing, clicked on the .stl button, and I had my file. So I decided to import this into Simplify 3D. Now I've got an older version, but simple design like this has always worked well, and I plan to update in the future, but just not yet. So I chose ABS and then medium quality and a 15% fill with a raft. And that's all I needed to do. Prepare to print, and here's the print with the raft. Now I showed the 2 little segments here, but I actually went back and took these off when I finally did the print. But this looked pretty good, so I was ready to send it to my Fabrikator Mini. And here it is on the Fabrikator Mini in time lapse. It printed really good. I didn't get any warping in the corners, and the raft peeled right off. So this first part was done. So I printed the segments separately. I brought one into Simplify 3D and then just copied it 13 times. So I ended up with 14 segments all laid out here. And I just edit process settings. I chose the same settings, ABS, medium quality, 15% fill, and I included a raft. And once I did that, everything looked good. I didn't have to do anything with advanced settings. Clicked on prepare to print, and there it was with the raft ready to go, so I could send this to the Fabrikator Mini. So now it started to print these segments, and it was printing in red. Now I decided that I would try to do two colors on this. So at a certain point I would print with white. Well, I waited too long to do it, but it still kind of worked. So once I got to a certain point, I hit pause print on the LCD, and then once I did that, it stopped, and then I could change the filament. So it was already heated up, so I could just pull the red right out of it. And then once I got the red filament out of there, then I could go and get a white filament cartridge, which I had handy. This is actually another filament cartridge out of a empty XYZ printing cartridge. So I just fed that into the Bowden tube, got everything set up, and then I could hit resume print, and it should start printing with white right on top of the red. So here I hit resume print, and away it goes, printing in white. And here's the finished advent calendar showing 24 days to Christmas. You can also see the previous Filament Friday Death Star ornament in the background. So this turned out really good. My wife really liked it, so it's a win-win for me. So I actually made 2 of these, and I was actually going to paint the top of this and then paint the numbers, and I printed them on a raft like this so I could just run the brush over the top of it. And that's, when I realized I could do 2 colors and just swap it out like I showed you. So this is the one that's actually the 2-color plastic, so I don't have to worry about painting or anything wearing off. Now it makes it a little more difficult to print because you got to be there and swap it out, but it's a pretty quick print, so you can sit around and wait for it. It wasn't that tough. I actually set a timer on my phone and came back and swapped it, and that's how I did this one. So overall, this was an easy but fun print, and I think it actually teaches a little bit of electronics. You learn about 7-segment displays and kind of how they work. Not electronically, but physically how they work. So I'll put my files on Thingiverse, and I'll put a link to them in the description below. If you want to print one of these, do it and put it up on Thingiverse. I'd like to see what you did. And maybe you can make it bigger or change the shape, modify it however you want. I'll also put the link to Tinkercad for this design. If you like this project, give it a thumbs up. If you like my channel, please subscribe. That way I know you like it and you want to see more. So that's it. That's all I got. I'll see you next time.